enthused about my position at FinWELL, where I work as a wellbeing strategist stroke financial wellbeing advisor. Or at IKEA a few years ago, I was the head of health and wellbeing, where I looked at the wellbeing strategy for 11,500 employees. I think what we can look at is probably the key trends and topics that we're seeing at the moment. And I always go back to that intersectionality between diversity and inclusion and this financial well-being agenda. And this goes across the board. You know, when we think about ourselves, we are perhaps all in the same storm, but we are in different boats. We are not all at the same level of incomes. We're not at the same level of our savings, our pensions, looking at where we are for the future comings. You know, some are looking at their first time buyer journey. Some are looking at perhaps where they are in their retirement journey. So it's really important to look at this intersectionality, but then also putting another lens to it. And I often talk about my personal experience, and I think this is quite vital because we don't look at the stresses and the strains that sometimes individuals have because of their cultural background. I think from a wider topic as well, we need to also look at neurodiversity linked to financial well-being. And within FinWELL as well, there's many lessons to be learned in terms of how people, for example, that have ADHD and how they manage people. It's about understanding how people's brains work very differently. We also have to take into consideration things like gender pay gap. We have spoken about it quite a lot. You've seen quite a lot in the press over the last 3 years. I think there's still more work to be done. In terms of also ESG, and we look at the 17 standard development goals from the United Nations, again, we're seeing this level around financial well-being coming in the form of economically, how are we taking care of our people, our communities, etc. So when we really drill into financial well-being, it's also about having a form of a strategy, because with all these things, we have to have a point of departure and a point of arrival. And in between, we are actually working our way through things. And there's two elements of that. We need to be strategic as well to the businesses that we are answering to in order to understand the data. We know all businesses operate and want to see a value on investment, or they want to see some form of KPIs. And that is realistic. We all want to benchmark ourselves and understand where we are and where we want to get to.